After writing 2 transformational books myself and supporting many other beings to do the same, I've become enthralled by the deep and mysterious magic that's activated when we choose to say yes to ourselves and commit to the book writing journey. Of course, we want to inspire change and new perspectives in our readers, but the transformation that happens as an author, both throughout the writing process and by actually releasing your book into the world, is surprisingly potent. I know I've been blindsided in the most disruptive and delicious ways by some of the changes my books have brought into my life. Writing a book is like casting a spell. Although we can never be completely sure what's going to be unleashed during the process, we choose to do it anyway. This Unbound one is a heroic journey. Each book has the potential to be a magical portal, a doorway to a new world, both for you and your reader. Each book has a very specific medicine that it's here to share with us. And each book gives us the opportunity to alchemize the magnificent imperfection of our experience into gold. The truth is that anyone can write a book. We could all get a few thousand words down and put them together. But what fascinates me is what happens when we allow the book writing process to go deeper. When we say, fuck it, get naked and dive way down beneath the surface. Letting go of the shoulds and any need to be acceptable, sensible, or approved of. What fascinates me is what happens when we make ourselves fully available to being transformed by the very act of writing a book. This is Unbound Writing, and this is the process we'll be exploring together here in the Unbound Writers Club. I'm Nicola, author and founder of the Unbound Press, and I help magical beings to write the transformational book they're really here to write at this time. I'm your guide here in the Unbound Writers Club, and the aim of this podcast is to help you to feel supported, encouraged, activated as you embark on your book writing journey. Whether you're a first-time author or have many books out in the world, my hope is that you will find something here to inspire you. Let's dive in.
Hi everyone, it's Jo Gifford here. Welcome to this week's episode of the Unbound Writers Club podcast. It's Jo Gifford here. I am a team member here at the Unbound Press. You will meet me if you become one of our authors. I'm the one who you will have a creative brainstorm with for your marketing. I'm also part of the team here to support with the podcast and social media and finding more wonderful authors and supporting them to work with us. So it's a pleasure to be here this week holding the mic for Nicola, who has just returned from retreat, which if you listen to our last episode, the Cauldron of Transformation, you will hear was quite an extensively magical retreat. So everybody is absolutely just, grounding themselves and finding their feet again, which is kind of the theme of these times anyway, isn't it? It's not sure about you, but certainly over here in the Unbound Press team, we're very much aware of the wild times that we are in. So this week, what we are sharing with you is actually an old episode. This is one of our earlier episodes, and it's called Writing with the Angels. And it's Nicola in conversation with the lovely Isobel Gatherer, who is an international psychic, intuitive reader, channeler, and energy healer. And this episode remains one of our most popular ones on the podcast. And so we're resharing it with you this week to offer this magic with you if you are new to us and you haven't heard this episode before. And also just as a reminder that the archives on the pod are absolutely full of beautiful interviews, really supportive conversations, insights, chats to act as a container really on your Unbound journey, wherever you are with your Unbound writing journey. So an invitation to re-listen to this podcast if you've already heard it, or to discover it anew if this is new to you. And as you move into your week, as you experience whatever this week brings, from myself and the Unbound Press team, we are sending you so much love and magic. Speak soon.
So, Izzy, welcome to the Unbound Writers Club.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me on.
Excited to see what wants to come through during this conversation. But I always start with the same question, which is, what does it mean to you to be an unbound writer?
It's still quite scary, to be honest. It's still because I haven't got the book anywhere near ready. But the beauty of it to me is the unbound side of things, because I cannot put myself in a box, and somebody saying you have to be like this and there has to be structure and no, I can't deal with that. So when we talked together that first time, I mean, we've known each other for years, haven't we? But when we had that conversation, April time I think it was, and you said, oh no, this is how it's done, I'm like, oh, thank goodness for that, because I can just be me, so I think that's the most important thing to me, is allowing myself just to be me, not to try and put myself into any sort of preconceived ideas of who an author should be like or what an author should be like, and just allowing myself to write and it being absolutely fine the way it needs to come through. And I think that's so important. And yes, it's freedom. That's the most important thing for me, freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you're saying that, I'm just thinking, I mean, that's the way you live your life, or it's certainly the way you live your life now. You've been on this huge journey, even since I've known you. I can't remember when we did first meet.
Probably about 2015, was it? Something like that.
Before that.
Oh yeah, we met before through Carly.
Yeah.
And then you had your reading about whenever you had it. 2014,
we'll talk about that as well, because you're responsible for a lot, Izzy. But can you tell us a little bit, I mean, this is not directly related to writing, but it kind of is, allowing yourself to follow this path, which is unique and completely your own. So your journey from when I first knew you to what you're doing.
Well, when I first met you, I was a freelance PA. So I'd worked in the corporate world for a very long time, and I'd got very despondent. The last job I had there just drove me nuts. I had a good job. It was a very well-paid job as a secretary at Portsmouth University. And yeah, it was just so boring. I hated it. And I had a puppy. And it's his fault this is all started. It started with him, really. Got the pup, didn't want to leave him at home on his own. And I kept saying, I'd love to work from home, but I had no idea what to do. And then I met somebody, as you do, by chance. It's always these synchronicities, isn't it? That I was thinking about this today, actually. And she was telling me that that's what she did. She was a freelance PA, admin assistant, used to go around to different companies. And I couldn't shake this off. And a friend of mine and myself had a long conversation one day, walking the Dorset Hills, actually, wondering what I could do. I set up my own business and wondering what I could do. And in the end, I chose to go at freelance PA, and work for some incredible people. And I think then the guides were like, because I wasn't on this spiritual path then at all, really. I mean, I'd had some inklings when I was younger, but things had happened when I was younger, but not really on this path as I am now. And obviously the guys were like, yay, because they were putting me with the most incredible clients who I worked with and supported. And they were amazing. And I got to see people channeling for the first time. I learned about higher self from supporting my clients. I met the wonderful Carly, and Carly was just blew my mind, because when I first met her and started working with her, I hadn't got a clue what she was doing when she was channeling. I think she's away with the fairies. And the guys must be thinking, well, we're getting there, but we're not quite there yet. We need to find somebody who can really bring this out of us well, because one client was really scientific with it all. Carly was all very woo with it all. Much too woo for me then, but not now.
Yeah.
And then another lady came in, and she was a bit like me, grounded, back down to earth. And something had happened. I'd watched her on a video, and I'd been supporting her on this technical side for Carly's work, one of the courses Carly was running. And I'd watched this woman on a video because I was intrigued by her. And this video, I obviously was meant to see it, because then I went and had a shower and had my first ever massive download in the shower about, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to call yourself, da 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 da. And I thought, I don't know what's just happened, but my God. I got out the shower, went and had a look for the URL they told me to got the URL. Then I went back to this lady, and I told her what had happened. And she said, oh, yeah. She said, that's a download. She said, have you never had one? I said, not like that. I don't think I've ever had one before. Certainly not like that. And then she said, do you work with angels, Isobel? And I said, no. She said, well, I'd like you to, I'm running this course. Do you want to come on this course? And I was a bit like everybody else at the time about angels. They were a bit pink and fluffy and, like the little pendants or little cards you got with angels on. And I'd heard people talking about guardian angels, but I didn't realise, never even considered working with them. Anyway, that was the start, really, because I did this course with her and everything was just blew my mind. Some of the things that happened, some of the, want a better word, miracles that are happening for me. And then I worked a bit further with her and started to work with spirit, realised I've been working with spirit all my life, but not actually knowing I was working with spirit all my life. And yeah, one thing after another just blew my mind. And then I sort of started to do readings of people. That was quite a slow task. I didn't feel comfortable doing it, didn't feel confident enough doing it, but my guides kept pushing me forward and started. And so I started to do the readings and got better and better and better at them and more confident. And the more I grew in confidence, the more spiritual I became. I mean, because you know what it's like when you first open, you will just want to learn. It's like being a sponge. And that's when the marriage started. I started to see the marriage for what it actually was. And after a few months, we called that a day because it wasn't going anywhere and it was pretty awful. So we called that a day. And once I'd got myself free from that, well, it was no stopping me. That was it, really. I had to sell the house, which in a way was a blessing because it freed me up again. And traveling was something that I used to have a caravan and I used to see people going and saying they were living in their motorhome or caravan and just traveling around. I was just thinking, I really want to do that. And we always thought we'd do it when we retired. But when the house got sold and I got money from the house, but not enough to buy anywhere, I just thought, go and get your motorhome, go and start your traveling. And it has been the most incredible journey. The things that have happened while I've been on this, it's my 5th year now, and the things that have happened, the people that I've met, past life stuff coming up for me in certain places I've visited. And this is another book. This is definitely another book that's coming out later on. Absolutely incredible. And I know now I had to do it. And then sort of looking at my numerology, I'm a number 5 and number 5's all about travel. And I didn't even know that beforehand, you know? Wow. So yeah, it's just been incredible.
Really amazing. I mean, I find your story and like seeing now how you travel from place to place and you're always in nature. I just find it so inspiring. I mean, that's so unbound to me, like the way you're living your life. Just incredible.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about channeling? Is it you just talk about that first experience of receiving the download? And I know a lot of people listening will be like, oh yeah, I get that.
I get that, yeah.
And I do, but I think we all experience it in a unique way. And we just know that something's coming through and it's not kind of from us, but it's coming from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
How did you experience that first one? Like, did you hear the words or did you just know kind of what you were meant to?
Yeah, I don't actually hear because I'm clairaudient, so I get people expect to hear it in your ears, don't you? And sometimes you do hear things in your ears, but usually it's a thought. It's like a massive big a download to me is like a big boosh of information that comes through. Yeah. And you can't really stop it, can you? Once it starts coming, it's got to come. And but it's like lots of thoughts and lots of ideas all coming through at once. And it's like somebody's just turned a big tap on. And I used to find, not so much now, and when people start having these downloads and they say, what do I do about them? Because it's just so much, I'm just getting them all the time. I see you can control it. You can actually say to them, I just need to turn this off a little bit. Can you just turn the tap down a little bit so it trickles through? Because otherwise it's too much and I can't cope with this. Because when spirit or conscious, I always call it spirit, that just encompasses everything really. For me anyway, it's easier to say it that way. But when the messages start to come through, it's almost like, yeah, she's getting them right, send more before she turns it off. And we can't deal with it like that because it becomes overpowering. So I always say, just turn it off and just say to them, I'm just going to turn it down a little bit, or can you just turn it down a little bit so I can deal with it? And then I always find writing it down is probably the best thing to do. As soon as you've got it, if you can, write it down what you've received, or you can pick your phone up and speak into your phone because then you've got it then. And you haven't got to try and keep it there and process it.
Yeah, that's what I did because I usually get mine when I'm out for a walk. So I can't write it down. So I'll get my phone out and do a voice note because sometimes I've thought, oh, I'll remember that. no, I don't. If I don't kind of get it down in some way, it kind of comes from there. It does. It comes.
It
from
just
stuff like
comes,
that.
yeah. It's also, if you write it down or you record it, you can always go back and listen, because a lot of the time your voice isn't your own voice either when you're doing it. It's a different tone, and you think, oh, and the sort of tone of the voice, the accentuation of the voice, it means a lot more than actually the words sometimes. So that's why it's great to record it and listen back in.
Do you ever find, because I feel this sometimes when I'm actually writing, like what's coming through in my pen, it's channeled writing rather than me writing it. Does that happen for you, or is it
yeah, sometimes it comes from me, but when I'm downloading, when I'm channeling, I mean, for the book I've channeled mainly, and because I didn't know what they wanted me to write, to be honest, and I didn't want it to be a normal an everyday angel book. I wanted it to be different, and I didn't know how it was going to pan out. So whenever I've written for that, which is why I've loved the Unbound experience so much, I've just let it come through that way as a channel. Automatic writing, I call it automatic writing as well, just get it out page. Sometimes it comes from me, but I just find it easier to come from them, or come from soul, even tune into soul and let it come through that way as well, you know. So it's coming more from you, but it's easier then for me. I haven't got to think about it, it just comes through. I also do it if I can't sleep at night, I'll go, what do I need to know? And I'll get my diary out and I'll just write and write and write and write. And I find that's really useful if you're in a situation that you're worrying about something and there's lots of stuff going on for you and you can't find a way through. And quite often we're up at night time worrying about it, and worry's a wasted energy. You should never worry about anything. But if you get your pen and just say, what do I need to know? And just write, there'll always be words of wisdom in there. Always be words of encouragement in there as well. And it just keeps you going.
Oh yeah, I find that as well. If I've got something going over and over in my mind, literally just coming to the page and, like you say, asking something like, what do I need to know? Like very quickly, it can just help me to see it more clearly and shift something from a different perspective. So it's a really great pointer to do that. This is why I love the way you work with angels, because it is different. Like, to me, the whole thing about Unbound is there's an earthiness to it, you know, a lot, you know, I can just like really go there when it comes to being spiritual, like really, you know, really go deep into the woo, but there always needs to be that kind of groundedness to it for me. And I love the way you work with angels, because it is very down to earth as well.
It is. Yeah, and before I left home, I say home, I've been gone that long, but they were trying to, this was really, I was thinking about this today actually, this was one of the times I got quite emotional about it, because they wanted me to become more earthy. They wanted me to go in. They wanted me to go in, be more witchy, more gritty.
Yeah.
Oh, I had such a meltdown, because I'm thinking, I don't want to be, what are people going to think about me? And I really had the biggest meltdown. And I was walking the dog along Gosport Street, Hasler Wall, and the tears were just flowing, because I'm saying, they want me to go in. And I knew I needed to go in, and I knew I needed to find a way to bring these two together. So, because I love earth, I love being in the earth, I love being in nature, I love connecting with Mother Nature, and I love connecting with them. And at that time, I didn't think the two mixed, but obviously they do, because we're all one. And since I've been on my and I remember going in the shop in Fareham and just crying. It's like a crystal shop in Fareham, and just going, do this. And she said, it's all right. Have this crystal, have this crystal, have this crystal. I'll pull you a card. And she sent me off. I felt a whole lot better about it. She said, you can work with whatever you want to work with. You can mix it all up. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. And since I've been out on the road and been staying in these most incredible places and spending so much time in nature, and understanding the cyclic side of things and how it all works, and I get it now, and I can be hugging a tree and talking to my angels at the same time, and it's absolutely fine. I'm giving myself permission to do that, and it works for me. So it's fascinating.
Because it's all the same, isn't it? You know, we have this idea that, you know, it needs to be really separate, and it's really, really not. And it's interesting that you resisted that initially, because I find, you know, we have these kind of conversations in the Unbound Writing Mastermind as well. Like someone may be like, oh, I'm really feeling called to express this in this particular way. And it feels like, maybe it feels like a bit dark, or, you know, I know that's kind of come up as well, or like it feels like there's this anger that's wanting to come through, or this different element that maybe we don't feel comfortable with. And actually, other people, when they read those words, they don't experience it. But to us, because we're kind of connecting with an aspect of us that maybe we have pushed away, or we don't feel is acceptable, it feels like it's going to be too much in some way.
Yeah, I've done a lot of healing around all of that as well, because on this journey I've done so much healing about past lives and stuff like that that's come up, and I've actually gone back a few lifetimes. I've done quite a lot of past life work, but knowing where this came from has really, really helped me. And I've done a lot of healing around the persecution and some of the things I had to go through in different lifetimes for the belief system I had.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, actually, because, again, I was thinking about this the other day. When I was a little girl, I remember just one of the things I used to do was get bits of grass and a stone and a little, make a pestle at the age of like 4 and 5, just be making things like getting leaves and scrunching them all up. And it's come from somewhere. This doesn't just come, you know, you don't just start that. It comes through from somewhere, through the soul, doesn't it? Through previous life experiences. Yeah. So it just goes to show that we've had things that have happened which could possibly be giving us these blocks now, and making us feel a little bit worried about, I don't want to be a witch. I don't want to be a white, you know, because what people are going to, like say, what are people going to think about me? But in actual fact, we're wise women. We're very, very wise women with a lot to give.
Exactly.
A lot of wisdom.
Exactly. You know, and I'm so grateful to you, Izzy, because like talking about when you did the reading for me, and I think that was 2015.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, because it was the year before Heal You're in a Good Girl came out. But I kind of known that I'd wanted to write a book, but I'd been in this place of not really being sure what to write about, and you know, all of the questions that come up, like who would want to read what I want to write, all of this stuff coming up. And actually, my business was going through a really challenging time when I came to see like everything had just stopped. It's like this space was being created, but I didn't realize it at the time. And I came to see you for an angel reading. And I remember the first thing that came through when you connected with them was, have you written your book yet? You need to write your book. That was the very first words that came out of your mouth. And I remember after it, I went out and walked along, you know, walked along the sea near where you live in Gosport, where you were just talking about. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do it. That was what I needed to really commit to it. And within 6 months, I'd written Heal You're in a Good Girl, and it was going out into the world. So thank you so much.
I remember you coming. I do. Yeah. That was amazing. And I remember you going as well, and you went completely different. You went out of completely different energy than when you came in.
Yeah.
I remember that. I mean, I don't always remember what I say in my readings. I read for so many people, but I remember that. I remember talking to you about Waterstones and about having your book on the shelf, and when women quite often this is going back to an experience I had in the 90s when I used to work in corporate, and very, very, very unhappy. I needed to find myself, basically. I really did then. And going into Waterstones and just trying to look along the bookshelves for the answer. Yeah. What book should I read? What was going to give me the answer this time? And I remember saying to you, it's like you need people, and I could visualize people looking along the bookshelves trying to find your book.
Yeah.
To help them.
Yeah. Yeah. It resonated with me so much because, you know, I'd done the same. When I was working in corporate, I used to go into Waterstones like pretty much every day in my lunch hour and have a coffee and like be reading a book and just like looking, because I felt so lost. And I know when I came to see you, you know, I'd been on this path for a while and I'd started my own business, but I was at a time when I felt really lost. So you just kind of like brought that through for me, that clarity. And look what it's led to.
I know. I wasn't expecting to go this far.
No, exactly.
I know, it's amazing.
We never know.
But then you're helping other people to get their message out, aren't you? And that's the most important thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of wise women, a lot of wise men who just need that platform. And some of the big I think when you want to write, when you've got this feeling to write a book, and the whole process almost is too much for you to take on board, isn't it? Whereas this with the Unbound, yes, you're expected to write your book, but it's a very gentle approach to it. It's a very cyclic approach again, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And the scariness is taken away from it. You've got to do this. I was thinking, I've done a lot of thinking today, as you can hear, but I was thinking about somebody else who we both know, and I know you've interviewed her, and she wrote her own books, then she went through a big publishing house. And I remember, because I used to have a lot to do with her in those days, the pain that she went through when she went through the publishing house. It was too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it can be. Because a lot of the way that things are done, it's still very much that old paradigm, and trying to mold yourself into a certain kind of way of being and doing things in a certain way, which just, it doesn't work. We can't do that. So yeah, anyway, I could get on my soapbox about that,
but then you're doing your own way, and you're doing your own, and you're enabling people who've got messages to get out, important messages to get out into the world, to get them out, which is just incredible.
Yeah, I really feel that kind of, I've say this a lot, each book is kind of a piece of this puzzle that we're putting together at the moment, bringing through these new ways. So I'm excited for your book to be ready to go out into the world. But Izzy, today I wanted, we're coming to the end of the year, and what a year it's been. So I knew that I wanted to get you on just to see if there was any particular guidance that was coming through for us all at this time as we come towards the close of 2020.
Let's have a look what they've got to say, shall we? I've got them with me. Okay, so the next 10 years are going to be very, very special. This is one of the 10. So it's going to be a special year, and it's going to be a year of growth as well. We've had a stagnant year. We've had a year of going back, yes. But next year is going to be a year of, to some extent, rapid growth, but then steadying down again. And it's about people keeping faith. It's about people remembering that there's two sides to this story. There's the one that's really like the love, and there's one that's the fear. And the fear, they're supposed to be equal, these two. Yes, does that make sense to you? So it would be a balanced life. It's got to be equal. I know it makes sense to you. And it's about finding this equilibrium where we've not got the swings and roundabouts and the upsides, the seesaws going up and down all the time. And I think what's happening now, and what we're going to be going through over the next few years, especially the next 2, is actually finding our grounding and finding where we can get this balance. Stepping out of the fear, not letting the fear hold anybody back. And especially for the people who are writing, especially for the people who've got the light gifts, the gifts of the light workers, the healers, the people with a voice, the entrepreneurs, the creatives. Those are people who've got that burning passion inside. Please let it come through. It's so important, because even if you get the inkling, much like you and I did, to leave corporate and go out and do something different, there's a reason behind that. There's a reason why you're being called to make that step, make that choice, make that step forward or in a different direction. And when you do that, and when you allow the growth to happen, and you allow yourself to grow and burst down those sides of the box, some amazing things come through. It's about trusting in the process. It's about, the most important word is the love and light. And I know that's very woo, and a lot of people get it, some people don't. But it's about staying on the side of positivity as much as you possibly can. And we all know we go down we again, swings and roundabouts, ups and downs, isn't it? We're allowed to be feeling down, but it's also about looking at what we have got, looking rather than not concentrating on what we're losing or what we've lost, but looking at what we have got and looking at the opportunities that we've got, and being very much in the present as well, making the present the most important part of your life. Does that make sense? Because this is where we make everything from the present, isn't it?
Yeah.
But being positive, it's about this. There's going to be some challenges. There's going to be some big challenges coming our way, but we can get through this. And the reason we're going through this is to make humanity see things differently. And it's also about illumination as well. Illumination is a big word here. It's about we're going to see some systems that we've been so used to having in our life breaking down. And instead of going into fear about this, look at this as, we need to see this. Look at this as, this is the change that needs to happen so that we can become a better race, a better live in a better place. Yes. Does that make sense? If we've got to go, we've got to shine. I'm going to say it's about lifting the carpet up and shine the light in underneath and seeing all the little things running around. And you've just got to shine a light and see what you've got to look at it. Instead of putting the carpet back down, keep it up until you've brushed everything out and had a good look. What do we need to do with this? What needs to happen with this? We can't keep pushing things under the carpet and then putting the lid down. And this is what started to happen in 2020. If you've noticed, that things like the Black Lives Matter and other things about the banking systems and all the things that are going on now, it's like, yes, shine the light, keep on shining the light until you've cleared it out, until you've actually investigated it and you've seen what you need to see and what you need to learn from it all. And take it seriously, because otherwise, put the carpet down, it'll only come back up again in a few years' time.
Oh, yes.
Does that make sense? I think that's so important. And it's just really, they're saying it's not going to be easy, but everything is working forward. We're working forward to something that's going to be a lot better than we are now. And we'll all feel a lot better than we feel now. And it's about enlightenment, it's about people waking up. And those people who are already awakened, help the people who are awakening. Be there for them, guide them. And I know we do in the group. And I know a lot of your authors are incredible authors. And get your books out, girls, because it's needed. Yes, does that make sense? Yeah. So needed at this moment in time.
Oh, yeah.
Some of you might have to run for cover, afterwards. They can hold the space for that. Exactly. But yeah. It's so needed, and we cannot keep putting that carpet down. We've got to keep on looking and exploring and seeing, and the history, and it's things to be proud of as well, not things to be disgusted about or upset about. It's about pride, because whatever's happened underneath there has made us the people that we are.
Yeah. Oh, that's big.
It is big.
And that feels like, it's an individual process, but also collectively, both. Yeah. Yeah.
Self-responsibility. I was listening to Elizabeth Peru. I love Elizabeth Peru. I was listening to her the other week, and she's on about self-responsibility, and that equals power.
Yeah.
And love. Yeah. So the things that are coming up for us, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm getting a lot of stuff coming up for me at the moment that I've got to look at, and I am looking at now, whereas before I'd push it away and go, no. Now I'm actually looking at it and I'm doing the work. I'm walking my talk, basically, because I tell other people, this is what you need to do. And then things keep up and they come back from the past. And, some of the things that come up are just like, really? But at the time it was a lot. And then now it's nothing, it's hardly anything. And you go, I can work with that. And there you go. It's all sorted. So things that come up for you, memories or things that you've got to work on, just roll your sleeves up and get on with them. You know it all already. There's nothing really to be frightened of, nothing to be worried about. And do the work, and then teach others as well, which I know again is what a lot of the women in your group are doing, teaching others with their writings.
I love that. Oh, thank you, Izzy.
You're welcome. But it's going to be fine. We're going to come out okay. And we're the ones who are we're the ones with the lanterns. We're the ones shining the light, and not just shining the light on the dark, but guiding other people too.
Yeah, and you can do both at the same time. I think this is really, we're continually looking at our stuff, and a lot of that comes up during the writing process as well. That's an aspect of the Unbound writing process. Certainly, is to see it as this opportunity for shadow integration, and so you can hold your light and guide others, and also be looking at what's under the carpet at the same time.
Yeah. Well, we are very good at multitasking, aren't we? So.
Oh, Izzy, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So grateful. For those who are listening and want to connect with you a bit more, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can email me at Isobel Gatherer, Isabel@isabelgatherer.com. I've got a website, www.isabelgatherer.com. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. I am on LinkedIn, but I don't have a lot to do on LinkedIn. So if Instagram's the best one, really. Or email me.
Perfect. So we'll put all the links in the show notes so people can do that. Like I said, thank you so much, Izzy. Really appreciate it.
I can't believe half an hour's gone already.
It flies by. We bend time when we come together. Thank you
You're
for bringing that through, like I said, as we come to the end of this year. And
excited to see what wants to emerge during 2021.
Yeah, it's going to be it's good.
Yeah.
I think we just need to look at it and go, it's going to be good. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be good. And it's what we've signed up to do. Let's face it, we've all signed up and said we'll be here for now.
Yeah.
And we'll be the age we are at now. So yeah, lead the way. And wise women, older women, crones, get out there and do your work, because it's so important.
Really is. Really is.
Mm.
Oh, thank you so much, Izzy.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. And we will see you again soon for another episode of the Unbound Writers Club.
Thank you. Bye.
So that's it. That's a wrap for 2020 in terms of the Unbound Writers Club. I want to say a big thank you to you for listening. Whether this has been your first episode or you've been listening to every single one since we started, or you've just dipped in and out, however you experience this podcast, I am so grateful to you for being part of it and joining the conversation. I hope that you have a magical time as we move through these last few weeks of 2020. As I said at the beginning, I'm kind of cheering you on because we've made it. And I'm excited to see what wants to come through as we move into a new year. We're going to be back with the Unbound Writers Club in January, so watch out for that. And, if writing a book is part of your plans, one of your dreams for 2021, then do get in touch. I would love, love, love to know more about that and to explore maybe how I and the Unbound Press could support you. So, always feel free to just drop me a message. Instagram's a great place to do that. I'm at Nicola Humber, or you can always drop me an email, nicola@nicolahumber.com. I am here for all of your book writing dreams, but I will leave it there. I could literally, I don't know, you know me, rambling on all the time. Just have an amazing last few weeks of 2020, and I will be back in your earbuds again in 2021.